Are you in the market for buying a property? And hanggang ngayon, hindi ka makadecide kung ang pipiliin mo ba ay landed house or condominium unit. So, which is better for you? Stay tuned because I'm going to be talking about that next. Welcome back and congratulations to you guys who are already at that point wherein you have decided to get into the real estate acquisition business. Whether it is for end use or ikaw yung titira, or it is for an investment na meaning ipapa-rent mo siya or if-flip mo siya or whatever business you want to do with that real estate property that you want to buy. So, in my previous vlog, I talked about the concept of ready ka na bang bumili or should you just rent in the meantime. So ngayon, andito na tayo moving forward. Congratulations! You have already made the decision that buying a property is for you. Now, the next hurdle is, should you buy a landed house? Ito yung mga house and lot, kasama na din yung mga townhomes, gusto mo bumili ka pa ng row house, mga duplex, yan. So, meaning to say, bahay na nakalagay on top of lupa. So, bahay at lupa. Or, are you going to be buying a condominium unit? Which is better and more importantly, which is for you? Let's talk first about landed house. What are the advantages, of them? First advantage of landed house is that you have exclusive rights and control over the property. Most especially yung lupa kung saan nakatayo yung iyong property. So that being said, kailangan pag bumili kayo, siguraduhin ninyo that you are buying property, or actually whether condo pa yan or landed house, no? When you buy a property, it has to be a title na malinis. Okay? And by malinis, I mean, dapat yung binili mo, it has to come from a reputable developer or you did business with the assistance of a licensed real estate professional, especially a broker or a property specialist under a broker. Hindi yung nakipag-usap ka lang sa mga colorum, fly-by-night, and ito yung bumili ka ng property na wala man lang maibigay sa'yo na title. Ito lang usually uso yan sa mga probinsya, especially in far-flung areas that they don't have titles. They will only be able to show you rights, okay? And more often than not, they only have siguro tax declaration to show for it. Sometimes even wala din yung mga yun, okay? Minsan word of mouth. So in another vlog, I'm going to be talking about how to minimize the risk of buying properties that do not have titles. Pero for now, I will say that when you buy a property, ensure that this is a legitimate or in Tagalog, malinis ang titulo ng iyong lupa na iyong bibilin. Second advantage is, of course, the obvious one, space. So, freedom of space. Kasi kapag ang binili mo ay landed house, more than the house itself, it's really the land that you are going to be focusing your attention on. You can just think of the infinite possibilities that you can do with that space, which is that extra parcel of land where your house sits on. So maaari mo siyang gawing garden or a mini orchard. You can make it into a big ass playground for your children. Okay, tapos if you are the type of person who has several pets, this would be also a great playground for your pets and your kids. At marami ka pang ibang pwedeng gawin. Pwede ka maglagay ng maybe a swimming pool, a fountain, etc. etc. So again, the possibilities are endless when it comes to space, which is at the very least not limited. And since we're talking about space, I would like to make mention of this very important advantage of landed house. Ito yung extra space or storage, okay, na hindi nakukuha na lately dito sa mga, especially the newer condominiums, okay? So sa house and lot, you are actually given the opportunity to have more storage space. So ano yung mga yon? Okay? Sa loob ng bahay, pwede kang merong attic or pwede kang merong basement. Okay? And pwede ka ding magkaroon ng exterior to the house or attached to the house, which is your bodega. Okay? Or you can also have a garage that can double also as a part bodega. So that is one great advantage of being in a landed house. And also, if I may add, hindi ka lang din limited doon sa binili mo or ipinatayo mo na structure in that land and house. Kasi meron kang opportunity for growth. What do I mean by that? Pwede kang mag-grow or expand vertically and to a certain extent laterally. So meaning, pwede kang magdagdag ng 1 or 2 additional floors as long as, well, in-okay siya ng inspector or the city engineer, tapos it conforms with building code. And pwede kang magdagdag halimbawa ng maybe a trellis or a patio, or magdadagdag ka ng additional parking garage, etc. etc. The possibilities are endless for as long as ginagawa mo yun within the perimeters of your property line. Yun ang importante doon. So again, the possibilities for growth and for space are endless. Third advantage is privacy. Okay, what do I mean by that? No? So, kung dahil meron kang landed house, pwede kang magpatayo ng fence. Pero again, in general, kung ikaw ay, let's say, nandito ka sa isang neighborhood na hindi naman exclusive village or gated community, pwede kang magpatayo ng bakod. Kung gusto mo yung bakod mo 20 feet, ikaw bahala sa buhay mo. Okay? So, that actually creates more sense of privacy. And in line with that, kung ikaw ay nag-scope ng property na gusto mong bilhin, meaning ng landed house, you would have been able to research in terms of the neighborhood. So makikita mo kung ito ba ay peaceful neighborhood, if these are people who are very nosy. Okay? So kung gusto mo ng more privacy, syempre mamimili ka ng property na nandun sa isang peaceful or not very well populated area. Right? So that advantage is more privacy. The fourth advantage, I actually already made mention of this in my previous vlog, no? But this is about your freedom of self-expression or determining what you want to do with your house. Okay? So, especially the exterior. Okay? Kasi sa condominium, ang meron ka lang freedom na baguhin, gawin, renovate, etc., etc. to your own liking ay ang interior. Whereas in a landed house, you can actually do whatever you want to do, especially with the exterior. So if you want to make it look like a castle, you want to make it look like a villa, you want to make it like Bali inspired, you want to make it industrial, modern, you want to make it Corinthian, Doric, etc. It's really up to you. So freedom. And that's very important if you are buying a house. And the last advantage is, in general, compared to condominium residences in residential towers, landed houses has a higher appreciation rate of the value over time, especially the lot or the land that your house sits on. So true that the house may suffer wear and tear and may have lower value over time, but the land, by virtue of the scarcity and supply and demand law, it will definitely have a higher appreciation rate. And we're talking about at least double-digit appreciation compared to roughly single digits for condominium units. Now let's go to the advantages of condominium or condominium living for that matter. Okay, the first that I can think of is the price or the cost. So it's more affordable compared to if you're going to buy a landed house. And I'm talking about this if you're talking about the same vicinity. So from what I can remember, kunwari nasa Makati ka, so gusto mong bumili in the vicinity of the CBD or within the fringe of Makati Central Business District, ang isang landed house, ang average price would set you back by around, wala kang mabibiling less than 100 million sa house and lot in the heart of Makati. Whereas, if you want to buy in the same locale or general area of Makati, pag bibili ka ng condominium unit in a tower maybe, you can actually have a unit for under 10 million pesos. Okay, so napakalaki ng price difference nun. So that is the first advantage of condominiums, affordability. The second advantage, I would like to connect also to the concept of affordability. It is having access to amenities such as a swimming pool, a clubhouse, gym, a study hall, okay, maybe even a relaxation park, a kids playground, etc., etc. Why am I linking that with affordability? Kasi in condo, hindi mo kailangang bilhin yung swimming pool for you to be able to enjoy it. So you just pay a fraction of it when you actually already pay for association dues, which is roughly 70 pesos to 120 pesos per square meter of your condominium. Versus, kung nakatira ka sa landed house tapos gusto mo ng swimming pool, ay ikaw yung gagastos ng magpapagawa ka ng sarili mong swimming pool. So, it is actually connected to affordability, yung enjoyment of those amenities. The third advantage that is very important to me personally as a condo owner and previous dweller is the concept of security and safety. Okay, why do I say that? Okay, in most if not all high-rise towers or kahit na low-rise na mga condominium developments, very strict, well, ideally, no, and theoretically, very strict ang security measures. There's actually a third-party security company that is hired by the condominium corporation to manage the security and safety of the premises. So, merong mga safety measures such as yun, there's a reception, you need to log in, okay, tapos hindi basta-basta paaakitin sa unit yung kung sino-sino lang. In some condominiums, there are annunciator services. Ito yung intercom na ngayon hindi na lang siya audio, it's now also equipped with video. So, you as the unit owner, nakikita mo kung sino ang nandun sa lobby. So, you have the decision to actually buzz him in or not. Sabihin mo yung guard, wag mo siyang paakitin or paakitin mo siya. Okay? And then, there are also, especially the newer condominiums of these days, meron na tayong tinatawag na RFID or proximity cards wherein a person cannot have access or operate the elevator unless he is in possession of that proximity card. And even better, yung mga bagong designed na RFID, they will only work to access the floor where you belong. So, kunwari, ako, taga 12th floor ako, hindi ko pwedeng ma-access ang 15th floor. Pag tinap ko ang 15, tapos na ganun na ka ng card, di siya gagana. So, it really enhances the concept of security. Hindi mo yun basta-basta nakukuha sa landed house. I mean, even if you're living in a gated community, at best, you just get, a guard house at the gate of the village, and then may paminsan-minsang nagro-ronda. Okay? So, medyo mas mataas ang level of security and safety that you will get in a condominium unit. Now, kung yung previous one that I said was very important to me, ito naman next na to, this is my personal favorite na advantage ng condominium living. Ito ay ang concept of convenience. And by convenience, I mean, kunwari nasiraan ka ng appliance, okay? Or maybe one of your fixture started leaking, okay? So, halimbawa, meron kang pipe, okay, na nag-burst, okay? O kaya ang circuit breaker mo pumutok, okay? Or, I don't know, may nag-short circuit sa'yo. What you can do is you can just actually call reception to actually have you connected to maintenance or engineering of the condominium that you're living in. Okay? And then, they can just actually come up to your unit and then check it, and hopefully they'll be able to fix it. Tapos, ano pa, ang isa kong naaalala particularly was when there was a really bad storm that hit the country. Nagkaroon ng 2 or 3 days na blackout citywide. Okay, so the convenience that you get in most condominiums now, especially those affordable, mid to upscale and luxury, is that you don't get power failure. Okay, ganun. So halimbawa, nagkaroon nga ng brownout. So ang nangyayari, meron kang backup power. Okay, so dun sa mas mamura-murang condo, nawawalan ka ng kuryente sa unit mo, pero ang elevator ay gumagana, tapos ang mga ilaw sa lobby ay gumagana. And yung isang hack dyan actually, may mga saksakan sa lobby na gumagana. So magkabit-kabit ka ng maraming extension cord. So pwede ka namang gumamit noon ng ganon. So in the more upscale and high-end condominiums naman, ang backup power would actually mean at the very least the refrigerator and or the air conditioning, and you'll have provision for 1 light and 1 electric appliance. Yun yung talagang medyo matataas ng value na properties and medyo high-end nga. Talagang full backup power ito, na as if hindi ka nawalan ng power. And you know, some are actually even automatic power backup, or yung iba may pinipindot ka or piniflip doon sa iyong circuit breaker, and this will not take more than 2 to 3 minutes to actually get the power. Okay, and also speaking of utilities that do not get interrupted when there's a nationwide interruption, pati tubig. Ang tubig din, hindi ka rin nawawalan in general, no? Or at least hindi ka mawawalan ng matagal compared to the rest of, kunwari, Metro Manila na pumipila dun sa mga fire trucks, okay, at 6 in the morning para kumuha ng panligo. Most condominiums are designed to have water reservoirs, okay, or yung mga detention facilities ng mga tubig for gray water. Okay, so meron silang backup na tangke na masusuplayan ka ng tubig. So can you imagine that convenience na the rest of the city nasa mall sila, nagchatsa para mag-charge, okay? Samantalang ikaw, you're in the comfort of your own home in your condominium, tapos ini-enjoy mo yung meron kang kuryente, tapos meron kang tubig. Okay? Of course, if you are in a landed house, may enjoy mo rin yun for as long as meron kang generator. Pero kung wala kang generator, nga. And last but not the least, ito yung maintenance. Okay? Sabi ko kanina, for a measly 70 pesos to 150 pesos per your square meters, meron kang magiging access sa amenities. And that also goes with the maintenance costs na iyong binabayaran para i-maintain nila ang iyong building. Well, hindi nila i-maintain yung unit mo per se. Okay, whatever's inside your unit, ikaw bahala doon. Even insurance, okay? But when we talk about the common areas such as the lobby, the elevator, the hallway, and the amenities, okay, yung landscaping, etc., kasama yun sa binabayaran mo. So, napakababa ng binibigay mo na cost or expense in order for you to be able to enjoy that level of maintenance. Okay? Of course, in house and lots or landed houses, wala kang binabayarang maintenance cost monthly basis. Pero kasi nga, that's on the premise na ikaw bahala sa buhay mo. Ikaw bahala mag-maintain ng bahay mo. Ikaw maggupit ng lawn, ikaw yung mag-lawn mower, ikaw yung maglinis ng swimming pool, ng gym, etc. Okay? So, yun yung difference ng dalawa din. So, now that I have finished talking about the benefits or advantages and some disadvantages of both a landed house and a condominium unit, the thing that you need to consider as you are deciding which one to choose is this. Ano ba ang preference mo? Ano yung mas matimbang sa'yo? Is it A, convenience, accessibility, safety, and security? If that is your preference, then maybe condominium living should be your choice. Now, if on the other hand, your preference is actually space and more space a nice, quiet, peaceful, beautiful neighborhood to grow into or to grow up in for your children, and also the relatively large amount of freedom of self-expression, then maybe a landed house is for you. Another consideration is, I've also mentioned this in a previous vlog, is ano ba ang objective mo for buying that house? Regardless of whether it's a landed house or a condominium. Ikaw ba ay gagamitin mo yon for end use? Meaning, ikaw ba yung titira doon? Okay? Or is it going to be as an investment? So, dun sa investment, maraming options dyan. Pwedeng paupahan mo siya or you flip it, meaning you resell it. So, you have to know kung ano ang iyong objective or end goal. Okay? Kung ikaw ang titira doon, ano yung mga considerations mo? One thing I can think of top of mind is location. So, maaaring ikaw ay working in a central business district or a city center. Okay? What might work for you would be to live close to the center na location. And again, as I mentioned earlier, mas mura para sa'yo kung bibili ka ng condominium kapag malapit sa heart or center of the city compared to buying a landed house. Now, kapag ikaw naman, you don't mind the hours of drive, no, hindi na kaya yung minutes ngayon eh, okay? So, a minimum of 1 hour to 3 hours drive, give or take the traffic, then you can actually get naman a cheaper or more affordable landed house. Pero ang bottom line, hindi ka nga nandun sa within the vicinity or not even in the fringe of the city center. Yun yung downside. And speaking of ikaw yung titira or end use, you also take into consideration kung ikaw ba ang moving forward or forward thinking mo ay, are you going to be a big family or a growing family? Okay? Kasi usually mga nesters ang bumibili ng mga landed house. So, napupursee mo ba ang sarili mo na lalaki ang pamilya mo, na hindi lang isang baby, that you're looking at 2, 3, or 4 kids, or gusto mo ng isang basketball team? Okay? So, psychologically, it is always better to raise children in a house and lot wherein, yun nga, sabi ko kanina, na you have larger space, that there's a playground or a garden where your children can actually, and their pets, for example, to roam free. Okay? So ngayon, I'm not discounting naman the possibility that you can actually also do that in a condominium. Pero, if you're going to buy a condominium na kayo yung titira and you have a family, you need to take into consideration na dapat malaki yung floor area ng kukunin mo na property sa condo. Hindi pwedeng kayo, 3 or 4 kayo, tapos 1 bedroom lang yung kukunin mo. You might want to consider a minimum of 2 to 3 bedroom unit. Tapos dapat may maid's quarter din yun. Okay? And then, kailangan yung bibili mong condominium, merong access, of course, to a playground. Tapos, that being said, siguro worth mentioning yung dapat maging medyo friendly ka na rin dun sa mga katabi mong unit, na especially kung meron silang mga kids din of the same age as your child or children. Kasi nga, it's important that children grow up knowing how to socialize. Hindi lang yung cooped up lang sila sa loob ng small unit, tapos nagta-tablet lang sila, tapos wala silang socialization or people skills. So that's very important when you have a family to keep in mind. Now let's talk about the concept naman or the purpose of investing. Yung bibili ka ng property kasi gusto mo siyang gawing investment. Okay? So, first things first, ano bang klaseng investment ang gusto mo? Are you looking at investing for capital appreciation? Meaning, ito yung hindi siya agad-agad na napupunta sa iyo yung earning per se, okay? But you are willing to wait a few years in order for you to enjoy the fruits of your investment. Kapag ganun ang tinitingnan mo capital appreciation, na again, eventually maaari mong i-resell. Kasi pag kinip mo lang siya sa'yo, hindi siya talaga investment na financial that you can monetize. Okay? So, pero kung kunwari, after 10 years, ibinenta mo yung bahay at lupa mo, okay, yun yung capital appreciation that I'm talking about. And again, Okay, historically, we're looking at double-digit capital appreciation for landed house. So, go for landed house. Now, kapag ang intention mo naman for investing is yung gusto mo meron kang passive income or a steady stream of income in the form of rental, okay? Condominium ang bilhin mo kasi pwede mo siyang gawing long-term lease, or for those developers that allow Airbnb or yung short-term lease, pwede mo rin siyang gawin for that. And also, kung gusto mo ng easy money na meron kang market na madali mo siyang ma-flip, or kunwari gusto mo siyang i-resell at obviously or hopefully a higher value, then condominium might be for you. In general, mas madali mag-flip ng condo kasi nga, ayun nga, goes back to affordability. It is almost always the fraction of a cost of a landed house. Okay? So, choosing to buy a landed house or a condominium unit ultimately boils down to your end goal. Ano nga yun? Gusto mo bang ikaw ang titira or gusto mo ba tong gawing investment? Okay? So, yun lang, dalawa na yun ang tignan mo. Okay? And again, as we have shown, as we have talked about in the previous sections of this vlog or the previous minutes, merong merits ang landed house, meron ding merits ang condominium units. So again, the choice is entirely up to you. Whatever works for you, sabi ko rin to sa previous vlog ko, kung ano talaga ang akma, o lalim ng Tagalog ko, diba? So, what is the best fit for you? So, what's your goal and what works for you? That is how you decide whether it should be a landed house or a condominium unit for you. But anyway, whatever it is that you choose, it's still congratulations again for taking that step in buying a property of your own. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of this vlog. I hope you learned a thing or two about whether to choose a landed house or a condominium unit. Sana nakapag-decide kayo dahil dito sa vlog na ito. Okay? So guys, if you have any other topics that you want me to talk about, please leave it in the comment section below. So, from here in Orion, Bataan, I do hope and wish that you are all always healthy, safe, loved, happy, and living in a home wherein you feel that you are with people who care about you and support you all the way. So, I will see you in my future vlogs. This is PJ Bentong!
If you like this video, please click like, share it on your social media, and if you haven't yet, click subscribe and that bell.